Disaster strikes in Singapore. What was supposed to be an exciting week leading up to the Singapore Major has made a wrong turn. Today, multiple teams have pulled out the Singapore Major that is happening on Saturday, March 27. NAVI has officially pulled out the first DPC Major of the season. They cited another case of COVID-19 and now the entire team could be infected. In the press release, they detail how everything transpired. At the end of last week, Andrei Always Wanna Fly Bondarenko and Bogdan Iceberg Vasilenko tested positive for coronavirus, which forced our Dota 2 team to start practicing with stand-ins. A few days before the flight to Singapore, another test showed that Andrei Shapenko has COVID-19 too. He was in contact with the other team members in the last bootcamp. However, he interacted with neither Iceberg nor Always Wanna Fly since they weren't even there. NAVI added that some of the players started catching a fever before the flight. During the last few days before the flight to Singapore, some of the team's players caught a fever as they were in contact with Meg, which was indicated in the health declaration for the flight. The risk of being quarantined in another country for a long time increased significantly. NAVI tried to replace Meg, but the new stand-in also had issues when it came to flying to Singapore. His flight got cancelled. With NAVI pulling out, their other stand-in, Roman Ramsey Kushnarev, is available, and he has been in Singapore before NAVI decided to pull out. We also like to express our gratitude to Ramses. He agreed to help the team and flew to Singapore long before we decided to withdraw from the tournament. The second team pulling out the major is South American DPC team BEASTCOAST. They have one player confirmed, Steven Stinger Vargas, who has been exposed to COVID-19, and now the other 4 players could have been exposed too. In their press release, they said, "Unfortunately, Stinger was exposed to COVID-19 this past week, and our other 4 players may have also been exposed as a result. Stinger is currently isolating from the team. All players have tested negative and we are monitoring them closely. However, because of the incubation period of COVID-19, we cannot be certain if our players are positive or not before flying to Singapore." BEASTCOAST said they're following WHO guidelines and potentially exposing others would be irresponsible. They have decided to pull out and prepare for the next DPC season. "We are very disappointed that our players will not be able to show their capabilities against the best in the world. We want to thank our fans and partners for their support." There are more stand-ins for teams. For Southeast Asian team, T1, they're replacing Carlo Kuku Palat. T1 tweeted his health has become an issue recently, and they have added Lee Forev Sangdong as a stand-in. European team, Team Nigma also announced Ivan Mind Control Ivanov has contracted COVID-19. Their coach, Roman RMN Pele, will be the stand-in. Last week, we reported Quincy Crew was needing to secure a stand-in and they found themselves worthy of a player. Milan Kozumar will be the stand-in for Quincy Crew for the Singapore Major. However, Milan has ran into the same issue that NAVI stand-in had before, and now they're awaiting on the news. If Quincy Crew still needs a stand-in, Ramsey is available. Lastly, Virtus.pro added a reserve player, Igor ITLW Filatov, in case their carry player, Igor Nightfall Grigorenko, couldn't participate in the Singapore Major. A week ago, Nightfall had symptoms of COVID-19 but tested negative. The goal is to have Nightfall fully recovered by the time and participate in the major with our original roster. Virtus.pro has yet to make an official announcement, but it sounds like Nightfall could be ready. If not, ITLW can step right in. And now you're up to date with all the COVID-19 related news on the Singapore Major. Check back at the end of the week for the rest of the stories, highlights from Dragon's Blood, and of course the start of the Singapore Major. Like, share, and subscribe.